Welcome to ZoomInData. In this session, we're diving into Azure Data Factory private endpoints and networking, one of the most effective ways to secure your data pipelines by keeping traffic off the public internet. We'll cover managed virtual networks, managed private endpoints, private link setup, best practices, and more. Let's get started. Networking in Azure Data Factory determines how your pipelines communicate with data sources and the ADF service itself. By default, it's public, but private options like Managed Virtual Network and Private Endpoints let you isolate everything, ensuring data never leaves the Microsoft backbone. So why go private? It removes public endpoints entirely, blocks exfiltration attempts, helps with compliance requirements, and gives you precise control over traffic, all while strengthening your overall security posture in a zero-trust environment. Managed Virtual Network is a key feature. Microsoft handles the VNet for your Azure integration runtime, isolating all compute and data flows. This isolation is what allows secure private connections without you managing infrastructure. Enabling it is straightforward. In ADF Studio, go to Integration Runtimes, create a new Azure one, and check the Managed Virtual Network option. It deploys quickly, and from then on your pipelines run in this isolated space. Note that you can't turn it off later without recreating the runtime. Managed Private Endpoints are ADF's way of reaching other Azure PaaS services privately. ADF creates them in its managed VNet, routes traffic privately, and you approve them on the target side, ensuring no public internet involvement. Creating one is simple. In the Manage Hub, go to Managed Private Endpoints, click New, pick your target like storage or SQL, select the resource, and create it. You'll see it in pending state until approved. Approval happens on the target resource's private endpoint connections blade. Just approve the request from ADF. DNS is handled automatically via private zones, but always test the linked service connection to confirm everything resolves privately. This is for accessing ADF itself privately, like the portal or authoring. You create a standard private endpoint in your VNet, link it to ADF subresources, and optionally disable public access for tighter control. For self-hosted integration runtimes, you can secure communication back to ADF using private endpoints in your VNet. Make sure to allow specific outbound FQDNs and use ExpressRoute or VPN for on-premises connectivity. NSGs give you rule-based control, especially useful with self-hosted IRs. Deny everything by default and allow only what's needed. For more advanced setups, pair with Azure Firewall. A major benefit here is strong data exfiltration protection. When you combine Managed Virtual Network with Managed Private Endpoints, all outbound public access is blocked. There's no automatic fallback to public routes if the private connection fails. Private link further prevents unauthorized exfiltration attempts. For even stronger defense, layer this with RBAC and Key Vault. Finally, monitor everything through Azure Defender for Cloud to catch any anomalies early. Even with private networking, encryption remains robust. TLS 1.2 and higher is enforced for all traffic in transit. Since private traffic travels over the Microsoft backbone, it's inherently more secure. Enable diagnostic logs for integration runtime activity and pipeline runs. Set up Azure Monitor alerts specifically for connection failures so you're notified immediately. Also track activity logs for things like private endpoint approvals to maintain full visibility. Here are some essential best practices. Always enable managed virtual network for all new Azure integration runtimes right from the start. Use managed private endpoints for every pass sync and source you connect to. Approve those endpoints promptly and audit them on a regular basis. Wherever feasible, disable public network access entirely. Layer these networking features with RBAC, Key Vault for secrets, and NSGs for added defense in depth. And crucially, test all connectivity thoroughly in development environments before promoting to production. In real-world use, you'll often see scenarios like copying data securely from a private blob storage account to a private SQL database using managed private endpoints. Another common one is securing ADF authoring and monitoring access only from your corporate virtual network. For hybrid environments, self-hosted IR connects privately to on-premises SQL servers. In multi-tenant setups, private links provide strong isolation. And for compliance audits, the absence of public traffic in logs makes proving security much easier. Let's go through some conceptual interview questions. First, what exactly is managed virtual network in Azure Data Factory? Next, what's the key difference between managed private endpoints and standard private endpoints? Why do we need to approve a managed private endpoint? How does MVN help protect against data exfiltration? And finally, when should you use private links specifically for the ADF control plane? Now for some scenario-based questions. Imagine your pipeline suddenly fails to connect to a private storage account. What troubleshooting steps would you follow? How would you secure ADF portal access so it's only reachable from on-premises networks? If you're migrating existing public linked services to private ones, what's the recommended approach? And how do you handle approval delays for private endpoints in a production environment? That brings us to the end of our detailed session on Azure Data Factory private endpoints and networking. Thank you very much for watching and following along. If this content helped you understand how to secure your pipelines with managed VNet, private endpoints, and more, please subscribe to ZoomInData for additional Azure Data Factory and data engineering videos. I'd appreciate it if you like the video, leave any questions or feedback in the comments, and share it with your colleagues or network. Thanks again. See you in the next one.